Hi, I'm Nate. I play Tilron Mistriver, the Air Genasi rogue. Tilron Mistriver, second youngest of the 4 children of Harion and Voxana Mistriver, in North Pass of the elemental plane of air. The Mistrivers were a middle-class family of little importance. Harion and Voxana owned a small magic shop, a humble way to make ends meet. Tilron, however, disagreed with this lackluster drive for wealth his parents accommodated. They weren't notable members of society and had no desire for it. This lack of drive was the first major rift between Tilron and the rest of the Mistrivers. As a middle child in a family whose seemingly sole purpose and desire was just to make do with what they have, never reaching, never trying to be something more, and this began to anger Tilron. When he was 13, he turned to a life of crime, as he became envious of the wealthy people around him. Tilron started getting really proficient at it too. He managed to accrue a small fortune of trinkets and jewelry. One day, a few months after turning 16, Tilron was caught and thrown into prison. Harion showed up 2 hours after the cell door was shut. Tired eyes did nothing to hide the disgust and disappointment. The walk home was apprehensive, to say the least. I can't believe my own son would decide to pilfer someone's pockets. Harion broke the long, silent walk. Truly. Tilron's tone bit back harder than the word. Harion looked at his son, obviously hurt. What is that supposed to mean? Harion asked, unsure if he really wanted the answer. For someone who wants to preach family mentality, you have an awfully strange way of showing it. I mean, Tilron stopped himself from cursing in front of his father before his emotions altered his initial hesitation. Father, you and Mother have treated me as the black sheep my entire life. At least now I can finally live up to your expectations. I'm sorry I'm not as strong as Joroaster, not as brilliant as Olena, nor as compassionate and grateful as Haikul. I am the only one with the sort of skills needed to pull this family from the brink of poverty because you know not how to use your capital. You have been given the keys to grandeur, but you're too much of a yellow-bellied twit. Tilron, breathless and shocked at his own outburst, stared at his father, who looked back at him with terrified eyes that bore an outline of tears. I need to be alone, Tilron said, as he walked into the dim lights of North Pass. A storm was brewing, and unbeknownst to Tilron, a powerful interplanar storm ravaged the city of North Pass and areas of the material plane. During this particularly nasty storm, Tilron was sent through dimensions and left stranded on the material plane in the capital city of Telflon. Once Tilron realized where he ended up, he had no desire to return to North Pass. However, now Tilron was completely broke. Therefore, he did the only thing he knew how to do: steal. For a few days it was fine, picking the coin purses and jewelry off the nobles near the city center, but eventually, the wrong pocket was picked. A tall, strong, and stern gentleman glared down at the young Air Genasi. The man's sunken black eyes stared back at the thief, before Tilron's vision went dark. He awoke, vision still dark, but differently this time. There was a black blindfold draped over his head. As quickly as Tilron clocked it, it was ripped away. Tilron's wrists were strapped down with leather straps on a dinky wooden chair. The room surrounding Tilron did not match the chair at all. It was a nice office, a beautiful cocoa bolo desk laid out in front of him, and sitting in a tall red velvet chair was the same man whose pocket Tilron had picked earlier. Tilron Mistriver, son of Harion and Voxana Mistriver of North Pass of the elemental plane of air. The man's voice boomed in the echoey office. Yeah? Tilron stuttered nervously. You've committed transgressions against our society, attempting to steal from a high-ranking member. That's nothing short of suicidal. The man spoke with efficiency. A cold tone shook the interior of Tilron's mind. If you're expecting an apology, I'll tell you where you can stick it, Tilron barked back. Whether driven by confidence or foolhardiness, he didn't know. The man recoiled deeper into the large chair. His ivory teeth shined through the darkness as a crooked sneer drew across his face. On the contrary, the man's ominous smile turned into a polite grin as he leaned forward. I want to offer you a job. Really? Tilron said in disbelief. Yes, the man replied quickly. On a lesser mark, you'd have made easy work of them. It was a poor choice of target on your part that caused you to be here in front of me today. But with the well-versed guidance of yours truly, your skills could be of larger use than hoarding petty baubles for rations. So you tell me who to rob? Tilron asked. Essentially, the man replied. Tilron took a deeper investigation of his surroundings. Noticing the decor of his office no doubt presented an affluent lifestyle. Why would a man of your stature need me to steal from others? Tilron questioned. I believe you misunderstand, the man said, with a hint of impatience in his voice. I don't need you to steal strictly for monetary profit, but something all the more desirable. I want you to be the means to gather influence in this fair city, the man said proudly. What happens if I say no? Tilron asked. The man's eyes shined through the shadows that masked his face, glaring menacingly at the young air genasi. The slow, agonizing end of Tilron Mistriver, followed shortly by Harrion, Voxana, Joraster, Olena, and Hykul Mistriver. I assume I've made myself clear then?
Yes, sir.
Tilron squeaked out. Good, the man replied while grabbing a small chest out from under his desk. He unlatched Tilron's restraints and handed him the box. Consider this a sign-on bonus. What does this job entail? Tilron asked, breaking his trance of focusing on the chest. We'll be in touch, the man said. For now, just get yourself situated with a place to live. Yes, sir, Tilron responded. With no other option, he quickly fell into the crime syndicate, formed from an old cult that was thought to be ancient history at this point. Tilron's ability to plunder and pilfer made him an efficient thief and occasional assassin. Tilron developed an incredible way with words as well, adopting the proficiency of deception to scam people for their gold rather than him needing to pickpocket them. Turns out the mystery man's other objective would be even better suited for Tilron than he initially believed. It was for the crime syndicate to increase their influence in the city and implement their own politician. Given Telflom's past, it was easy to convince those in charge to appoint someone from another realm. Over time, Tilron became well known and spent most of his time around others in charge of Telflom. He would aid the syndicate whenever he could.